Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry I hadn't updated you with the video recently, but let me show you. I'm pregnant and a lot. So yeah, thank you so much for being so patient. The truth is I was really paralyzed with fear for the past couple of months because I didn't know how everything would go, you know, with with dealing with loss before and with living with hydrocephalus. So I really wanted to make sure that everything was okay before I updated you or shared anything with you, because I was really petrified, to be honest. So now that I am in a really good place and I can say that most of my worries have now gone, I really felt like picking up my camera again and updating you on what's going on and how everything has been. So where I left you off was my IVF vlog, which was actually 7 months ago. So that was in December, I believe, or even in November. So basically, I left you off with the egg retrieval video, and then we had to go through the embryo transfer. So after the egg retrieval, if you remember, and actually I'll link the video of my egg retrieval down below, as well as the rest of my IVF vlog, just if you're interested. We then had to go to our embryo transfer, and I really wanted to give you an update then, because this is why I'm doing this. I am doing those videos to let you know that you can have a healthy and happy life living with hydrocephalus, and, you know, get pregnant, have a healthy pregnancy, and have a healthy baby, which is what I am doing right now. So I'm sorry I didn't do that on time, but I promise I will not be the world's worst vlogger anymore, and I'll keep you updated now that, as mentioned, most of my worries are gone. And I'm sorry if I'm really out of breath, but this is something that really comes with pregnancy, being really out of breath all the time, and especially now in my 3rd trimester. I cannot believe it. So I am in my 3rd trimester, 31 weeks tomorrow, so 30 weeks, 6 days today. I just do not have that much space anymore, and I just need to take it slow and know that I am just a little out of breath. So anyways, after the egg retrieval, we had to go for our embryo transfer, and our embryologist called and she let us know that out of the 14 eggs that they had retrieved, 12 had survived, and they will be fertilizing them using ICSI on 50% of them, and natural IVF, which is where they leave the sperm cells and egg cells do their own thing, on the rest 50%. So after fertilization, we had 6 great embryos that were then frozen, and we had a thawed embryo transfer planned for the 8th of December 2021. So when we went in for that transfer, that was a really unreal experience. Like, I cannot express anything other than unreal. I cannot call it anything other than unreal. It was just the most amazing feeling. I had a monitor up on my right side where I could watch the whole process. I could see what the nurse and the doctors were doing. So after the transfer itself, I had the opportunity to lie for 15 to 20 minutes listening to classical music and watching the sun set through the large windows of the hospital ward where I was in. And after that, we just had to go home, basically. So that was on the 8th of December, and after that I was due to go on a blood pregnancy test on the 22nd of December. So that was 2 weeks after our transfer, which, if you're waiting for a positive result on a pregnancy test, is a lot of time. Like, this is so long that I couldn't wait for that long. So of course I had lots of pregnancy tests stacked at home. My doctor had told me not to be doing any home pregnancy tests, just in order not to be devastated if it was negative, or if it was a chemical pregnancy and then the blood test at the hospital turned out negative. But I couldn't wait anyway. So I did a clear blue early detection on the 16th of December, so that's still 8 days post our transfer on the 8th. And with a thought embryo transfer, you need to know and take into account that the embryos, at least in our case, were at that point already 5 days old, because it was a 5-day embryo transfer. So that would count as 5 DPO at the time of transfer. So 5 DPO was on 8th of December, and then on the 16th of December it was already 13 DPO. And that clear blue early detection test said that it would detect a pregnancy up to 6 days before a missed period. So I should have been in a good place with that test, and I just woke up one morning. So I woke up on the morning of the 16th and I just couldn't wait anymore. So I went into the bathroom and did the test, and when I saw it was positive, I just couldn't believe it. So I was just so happy, because before that I was really stressed. And so after that I of course did another one, which was not an early detection but a normal pregnancy test, and it was also positive, though the line was really thin. But then I did another one of those 2 days after my first test, and the line was considerably darker. So I'll insert photos of that on the screen. So after that I went on my blood test, and you know, when you're doing hospital blood test, that so any concentration about 25 is considered pregnant. In some hospitals it's 50, but yeah, we were looking at a number above 25 or above 50. In my case it was 903, so my HCG levels were at 903, which was just insane. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the result. It came the same day, and I was just so happy that I could have cried. And then, you know, I got into this really weird place where instead of feeling relieved and happy, I was just feeling anxious all the time, like all the time, because when dealing with previous loss, this is something that can happen. It's that because I had seen a positive pregnancy test before, I had seen a positive hospital HCG test before, I had seen an early scan before with a heartbeat, and then on a next checkup that was gone before. So with my loss, I was just so anxious that it would just happen again, and it would really have broken my heart. So I was so anxious all the time. I didn't do much, so I would just, because I'm working from home anyway, I would just, you know, either stay at my desk or lay in bed and read a book or watch something. So I have never watched as many series as I did in my first trimester. So my first trimester I was just like out of my mind constantly. I was so anxious that I couldn't even wait for a week after our HCG blood test to go to my first early scan, because I was feeling some cramping and some pain. I just couldn't wait to get to that. So our blood test was on the 22nd, and then the first scan was booked for the 29th of December. I just couldn't wait for that, so I went in an emergency on the 26th of December, so right after Christmas, just because I couldn't bear not knowing anymore. And you know, I went in there and I really did have some cramps and some things, but that's normal, it turns out. And I was just like, I don't feel right, I don't feel well, I should be now 3 weeks pregnant, and I'm having some really bad cramps. So I went in there, we saw the yolk sac, and everything was just fine. Everything turned out to be just fine. It was just, you know, cramping from the embryo further implanting in my uterus. So that was fine, but I was just so worried. And then, of course, I went in on my plan scan as well. And by the way, guys, if you want to please a pregnant lady, give her food and scans. Like brunches and scans, that's the best. Nothing else will work with a pregnant lady, really. After our scan, we were supposed to go in 2 weeks after that as well. So for the first trimester, I would be monitored at the IVF clinic that we did the IVF in, and after that our IVF doctor would hand us over to the OBGYN. So for every scan that we went in for, I was just so worried and so anxious. Like, I couldn't even begin to tell you how I felt every time that I was sitting in this room, because I was really worried if we'll see a heartbeat, if, you know, after we saw the first heartbeat, if we'll see it again next time, and all of that. And I was just a ball of nerves. I couldn't really get to do much, as I told you, not only because I was worried and I was just like willing to do as little as possible and to be as static as possible in order not to do anything to the baby, but also because I was in such a state of mind that I really couldn't get out of my head and really do much, which is when, so as you know, I am going to therapy, which is when at that point I was like, I really need to talk to you about this particular issue. So that was what my therapy was about for the most of the first trimester. And that really helped a lot. Like, therapy is the best thing. I would definitely recommend going to a therapist if you're going through an IVF, if you have had the previous loss, if you deal with any anxious feelings or any fears during your pregnancy, because that was just the best support for me. And then we had an appointment at the exact same week that I had my previous loss, and that was just like, I couldn't go to that appointment. I had to be dragged out of bed and out of my house in order to be able to get there, which was so bad. And then after that, I slowly started getting in a better place, because I had now the experience that I did get past that point. So now at that point I was already past that point, and I kept having a healthy pregnancy. I was feeling fine and everything was just great. So at that point, the scans were every 3 weeks, not every 2 weeks anymore, or even once a month. And when we went on our first anatomy scan, we saw everything on our baby. So we saw her little fingers and toes. We saw that it's a she, so we saw that it's a girl, which was just amazing. And then after that is probably when I started really to feel better. So at that point in my mind and just in my psyche, I just started feeling way better, and, you know, acknowledging the fact that I was really pregnant, and I had a healthy pregnancy and everything was just fine. So that was at the end of my first trimester, and then my second trimester was just the best. That was like, I was in a really good place. I even traveled, and I traveled a lot, to be honest. So I visited London twice, once in my weeks 21, 22, and then again in my weeks 24, 25. So I visited London twice in 1 month, so 1 month apart. And I was just so happy, because I just love England and I love London, and that was a place that I hadn't visited before the pandemic, and I didn't know when I would be able to visit again, and I didn't even know if I would be in any state to travel when I was pregnant, just because of my state of mind, not because of anything else. So it was really a great experience when I went to London. I loved it so much. I did a lot of shopping. I shopped a lot of things for baby, which was really exciting as well. We went to see 2 musicals. So the first time we went to see The Lion King, which was just amazing, and then the second time we saw Mamma Mia, and that was great as well. And I was just so happy, and I still am, but like, that was probably the first time when I arrived at London, and I was like, so first of all, I was really scared when I got on the plane, when the plane took off, when the plane was landing, when I forgot to take the elevator at the Covent Garden metro station and I climbed the whole 175 steps. and all of that. I was really anxious and really worried when I was eating something that I didn't know whether it was safe for pregnancy or not. So I was basically worried all the time. But after that experience, I was just like feeling the healing, because I saw that I can do stuff, like I can do things that made me happy, like travel and go to a nice restaurant and go to see a play or a concert or a musical and just, you know, be happy and be myself again. And that was just so nice and so therapeutic. So I can definitely say that my travels were the most therapeutic part. I was in a really good place during my whole second trimester, and I'm in a really good place now in my third trimester. I feel amazing. The thing is, I'm really heavier than I would normally be in the summer. So now in the hot weather, I am just feeling really sweaty and heavy, and my ankles and even my hands are being swollen all the time. I cannot wear my rings anymore, so I'm not wearing my wedding band and my engagement ring. I cannot wear any shoes apart from Birkenstocks and flip-flops, and these are the only shoes that I wear. And thank God it's summer, because I don't know what I would have done if I had to wear like boots or probably I would just wear sneakers in winter. But yeah, so today we have a doctor's appointment as well, where we'll hear baby's heartbeat again. So now I'm just doing the Doppler heart rate monitoring before our scans. So we'll hear her tones, and then we'll go in and get a scan. I will be, because I have hydrocephalus, at least in Bulgaria, it is not recommended for pregnant women to have a vaginal birth. So at this point, because there is not really much experience with women delivering with hydrocephalus, so now I will be delivering via a planned C-section, and my due date is 26th of March. My due date is 26th of August, but I will be delivering on the 16th, so 10 days before my due date, via a planned C-section. My hospital will be waiting for me on the day of the planned C-section, and yeah, if labor begins earlier than that, so if labor begins earlier than 38 weeks pregnancy, I would need to go into the emergency, and I would have an emergency C-section. I'm sorry about the plane. Wow, that was really loud. So yeah, I would have an emergency C-section instead of a planned C-section. But for now, it's planned C-section on the 16th of August. So currently we are prepping baby's things, prepping her little space, prepping her nursery. So I'll give you an update on that. And yeah, I just wanted to give you an update and just tell you where I was. But I'm definitely, as mentioned in the very beginning of this video, not going to be the world's worst blogger anymore, and I'll just keep you updated, because I think it's important for, you know, pregnant women and with women with hydrocephalus, and not only women, families that have that are dealing with hydrocephalus, to know that you can have a happy and healthy pregnancy and a happy and healthy delivery. So I will be giving you more updates. I'm planning on a first and second trimester recap, where I'll be sharing all of my symptoms and all of that, and how I was dealing with, you know, being pregnant whilst also working full time and having a condition, living with a condition as well. Because I need to tell you, I know that pregnant women are really tired, but like this was a whole new level of fatigue for me. Like some days I really just couldn't get out of bed. Thank God that I have a job that is really understanding, and I could, you know, take my laptop in bed or work from bed, and that was just the only option for those days, to be honest. And then sorry about my voice as well, but it turns out that pregnant women have their voice changed, so it becomes a little more hoarse and a little more, you know, draggy. But yeah, it's supposed to go away after delivery, but we'll see. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm just so happy. So yeah, as mentioned, we're prepping baby's little space. the very beginning she'll be sleeping with in our room, but we're also prepping her room for the time when, you know, we can transfer her to her own cot. And yeah, now we're just waiting for the bedside cot to arrive. We have her changing place ready and set up. We have her stroller and her carry cot, and you know, most of her things are already here with us, and we're just prepping the space and getting ready for baby to come, which is so exciting. So let me just give you a quick bump update of 31 weeks. So I haven't updated you on, you know, you haven't seen any bumps so far, so it's not an update, it's a bump presentation. But yeah, let me show you. So here's a little bump update at 31 weeks. It's so nice, it's just so cute. And you can see here in the background baby's tiny space starting to prep, but I'll give you an update on that further on. And with that, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this content, I will be prepping and giving you more pregnancy update videos with the, you know, me living with hydrocephalus and being pregnant. And I'll be so happy to share the rest of this journey with you, and then the exciting baby journey as well. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.